I'm very glad to have the opportunity to attend this exciting summit on future technology. Today, I'm going to talk about recommendation system. Recommendation system arise as e-commerce become popular. As we know that e-commerce is a virtual environment. We don't have real salesmen there. So recommendation system replaces the role of traditional salesperson. The application of recommendation system go well beyond e-commerce. For example, precision medicine is a hot topic. Precision medicine can be viewed as applying recommendation to medicine. Today, for example, a cancer patient, when the doctor treats a patient, it will first use the most effective drug to the general population. So if drug A have 50% of the patient react well to it, and then drug B has only 30% of the patient react well to that medicine, then the doctor will always recommend medicine A. But actually medicine B is more effective to that particular person. So the recommendation technique is, the important thing is personalized, it's targeted to this particular person. So the recommendation technique, even in the e-commerce environment, we are not recommending the most popular thing. For example, if a person wants to watch a DVD, right, watch a movie, the recommendation system will not recommend the most popular movie. He will base on the past history of the watching behavior of that person and then make the recommendation. So similar idea can be applied to medicine. And there are also many other application areas. For example, it can be applied to social network for friends recommendation. It can be used in decision support or Q&A system. So there are many applications there. So the focus of this talk is on exploring broad and deep learning to recommendation system. Future is always hard to predict. We know this deep learning is very hard today, but 10 years ago, few people see the potential of deep learning. Nonetheless, the future trend is on applying machine learning and big data to new applications. For example, precision medicine, self-driving car are good example. The recent COVID-19 pandemic, in fact, accelerates the development of various machine learning-based automation applications to reduce the need for human contact in area of warehouse operation, product delivery, and factory production, as well as online delivery of education. Because in all those warehouse factories, right, we want to keep social distance, then we have to reduce the number of workers there. So we definitely need to introduce more automation there. In addition to traditional commercial application, our society now faces daunting challenge on frequent natural disaster due to climate change and frequent occurrence of new type of pandemic. This year, we see various natural disasters from huge flood in Europe, China, and India, to out of control wildfires in the Western US. This natural disaster, though, is being referred to as 100-year flood or wildfire, but now it is occurring every few years. We are now also in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Pandemics are now occurring with alarming frequency. The recent pandemic include the SARS in 2003, H1N1 swine flu in 2009, MERS in 2013, Ebola in 2014, Zika in 2016. So this frequency is really become every few years. So machine learning with big data can be applied to provide early prediction on those natural disasters like flood and wildfire. If we can predict the time, location, and scale of the flood or wildfire, it will help save a lot of lives. Machine learning with big data can also be used to accelerate vaccine and medicine development for new type of pandemics. Traditional approach on developing new medicine take too long, often taking a decade or so. The reason it takes so long and so costly to develop a new drug is that we're having too many failures. Okay, so very low hit rate. You have to try maybe 100 trial in order to get one successful one. But given the frequency of a new pandemic, we need to be able to do rapid development of new vaccine and medicine. So I think this machine learning with big data can improve the hit rate. So it will reduce the development cycle. Even though this time we are very lucky to have the COVID vaccine available quickly within a year, we still lack the drug to combat the disease. And as the new and potent variant, like the Delta variant arise, we also need to be able to update the vaccine quickly. So I think this machine learning and big data do have an important role to play. Also, I mean, a lot of people concerned about the side effect of the vaccine. So many people who are very hesitant to take this vaccine. So even in the US, it is hard to get this vaccination rate above 70%. Yeah. But actually, an interesting question to ask is that whether we can perform this personalized vaccine recommendation. So we can recommend the vaccine that will have the least side effect to each person. If we can do that, then maybe we'll be able to get people more acceptance to this vaccine, because we are not just having one vaccine for this COVID, right? There are many different types of vaccine based on very different technology. So if a person have very strong side effect on this Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it doesn't mean that it will have a strong side effect on the Pfizer vaccine. So I think the opportunity is there. So we know this is the era of big data, but the big data is not really just one data set, with a very huge size and many attributes. The data are usually scattered among heterogeneous data sources with different modality. For example, if you look at Google, right? If you do Google search, that represents one aspect of you. But in the email, you also reflect a different type of information. And then on the Google map, actually reveal your location, right? And then Google Plus then tell Google who your friends are. So if you go use all those information together, then will be better able to serve the person, right? So really the information are scattered around. We need to find technology to really fuse those things together in order to do a more meaningful work. Data coming in very different modalities, right? So some of the graph is represented, some of the data is represented in text, some of the data is represented in image, okay? But among all the different modalities, this graph data is the most challenging to handle, as the graph structure need to be captured. Nonetheless, many real-world applications are naturally represented as graph that contain a set of nodes and edges. For example, social network certainly is a graph. But even recommendation system is a graph, because you have person connect to the item they rated or they purchased, right? So it's also it's a kind of graph. So how to apply this machine learning technique to graph that type of data, that still have a lot of room to grow. Okay. And then another thing is that although we say we have big data, right? A lot of data, right? But the challenge is that there are very scarce annotation. Although although this kind of data of all kinds, the amount of labeled data is quite scarce and can be expensive to obtain, because then you have to use human beings to label those data, right? So the challenge is that how can we do machine learning without a lot of annotation, just using in the signal within the data. People should follow their passion and aim high. For example, you can change the words, right? Because if you look at, for example, we talk about this neural network, deep learning, right? When Hinton, when those people work on that in the 80s, right, 90s, nobody care about those topics, right? Those are not a popular topic, right? But I think those people, they believe on this technology, right? So they keep on working on it. So finally, now everyone agree that this is the most useful technique at this moment in time, right? So you have to have this passion to pursue what you believe is promising, not just following the trends, right? So another example is that for example, today we talk about this COVID-19 vaccine, and the most promising one, or the most powerful one, is the one coming from Pfizer, BioNTech, as well as this Moderna, right? They are using what we call the mRNA technique, right? But the person who invented this mRNA technique, right, this Kathleen Carrico, she worked on that also for more than 30 years. At the early days when she worked on it, no one see this as a promising topic. She has tremendous difficulty getting funding. She actually got demoted at this Penn University, UPenn. So, but she believing that she can keep on working it now. So I think this technique certainly save billions of lives, right? We are having in this vaccine by this Pfizer, BioNTech or Moderna, right? They're all based on this mRNA technique. So really, no, we should not just follow the trend. We should be a trend setter, okay? Trying to do something maybe different if you really believe in it.